Today I'm going to be doing a top 10 scary movies list to just to put together a list of movies that would be good to watch during Halloween season. This obviously doesn't include all of the scary movies that were done this year. I didn't have a chance to watch all of them, but I tried to watch as many as I could and compile a list. So if you have a movie that you really like that's not on here, it's probably because I just didn't get to see it. And I tried to watch as many as I could, and believe me, there were a lot of bad ones that don't even come close to being on the list. But what I did was make the best I could a top 10 list. So, and I'm also going to allow my dog Vader to help me do a top 10 list. As you can see, he really liked to be Batman this year for Halloween, and he wanted everybody to see his costume, so here you go, and he'll help me with the list. So we'll start with number 10, which is Creep 2. Now, Creep 2, for people who haven't seen Creep 1, it's about a character named Aaron. He's a serial killer. He's played by Mark Duplass, and who's usually known as being a comedian. But in this, he's a serial killer, and he hires a videographer to follow him around under the assumption that he's got cancer, and it's kind of like a last day um, memorial kind of thing, and things go bad. It turns into a whole stalker situation. In this one, same character is back, Mark Duplass, as the stalker, as the serial killer, and in this he's basically hiring a videographer to follow him around and do a documentary about being a serial killer. He basically admits to her right off the bat that he is, and then it's whether or not she believes it or not is what's happening throughout the movie, and you actually get to see more of the person behind the camera in this one, which you didn't really get to see much of in the first one. So it's a good movie. It's creepy. It's slowly paced, but it's more psychological than anything, and it's a good. And number 9 is Cult of Chucky. It's gotten more silly. Like the Child's Play movies have gotten more silly after Child's Play 3, when they got into like the Seed of Chucky and Bride of Chucky. Lots of meta humor, lots of jokes. But in Curse of Chucky and in this one, Cult of Chucky, there's a lot more. It's more dark, and they went more towards animatronics and less CGI. And it's well done. It stars Fiona Dorff, who's Brad Dourif's daughter. So it's kind of interesting seeing those guys work together. Obviously, Brad Dourif is just his voice, but it's still entertaining to watch. And there are some gruesome kills and some nice shots. It's for the most part, it's a pretty well shot movie. It also includes Alex Vincent, who is the same actor that played the kid in the first 2 Child's Play movies. Number 8 is the Belko Experiment. And the Belko Experiment is more action than horror, but it's still included. That's why I said scary movies instead of horror movies. It is. There are a lot of jump scares and kills and gruesome deaths. It's about a group of people in an office building where the office building gets locked down, and they have to kill each other to get out. And it's really well done. Lots of action. It's by James Gunn, who's known for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So it is well done, and it is funny, and there is lots of good action. Number 7 is Happy Death Day, which is still in theaters, and it's about a girl who is in college. She's celebrating her birthday, and at the end of the night, she gets killed. But then she keeps reliving that same day, like Groundhog Day or like Live, Die, Repeat. But she has to find out who the killer is, basically, and it's funny. It's more of a horror comedy, and the lead actress is good in it. She goes from acceptance, fighting it, trying to figure out who the killer is, trying to just enjoy the day kind of things. and it also has to do with like they put in a way of limiting how many times she can die, which gives her a deadline, so she can't just keep living the same day over and over again. She has a goal that she has a deadline she has to meet. So it makes it more entertaining. It's just that it's PG, so the kills aren't very gruesome, and there's not a lot of blood, but it is an entertaining movie. Number 6 is Alien Covenant, and that is if it's got aliens, it's got kills, it's got jump scares, it's got atmosphere. It's in the beginning it's slowly paced, then it ramps up into this whole thing with the alien running through the spaceship and people trying to hide and trying to kill it. So there is action, there is horror, suspense. The only thing is, if you really like the Alien movies, you might be turned off by the story because of what it does to the alien lore. But that's really a personal preference. To me, I like the alien story, and I kind of like to see. I watch this movie as more of a standalone than part of the Alien franchise. And that, if you watch it like that, it's a good watch. And number 5 is The Babysitter. The Babysitter is on Netflix, so it's widely available. And it's a really funny movie. It was released a few weeks ago on Netflix, and it's about a kid who has a babysitter, and he finds out that she has been doing satanic rituals and sacrifices. And part of what his involvement is that she needs his blood for her ritual. So it's her and some of her cult members trying to catch him, and he's getting away from them. It's not quite a Home Alone situation. Like, it's not as elaborate as that, but a similar idea. And it's very gruesome. It's R-rated, so there's lots of deaths, and they're very gruesome deaths, which is entertaining. It's a funny movie. It's horror comedy, not just straight horror, and it is entertaining. Number 4 is Split, and this was another one where, it's not a horror movie per se, but it is a very suspenseful and thrilling movie. It's M. Night Shyamalan. It's not like his last few, which haven't been that good. It's more along the lines of, Unbreakable, Sixth Sense, that kind of movie where, the tension builds, and James McAvoy is really good at the starring role as this guy with multiple personalities who's kidnapped 3 women and trying to also talking about sacrifice to this beast character who's one of the personalities that is inside him. So it's really entertaining. It's well done. There's a lot of atmosphere. There are some little M. Night Shyamalan isms where you'll recognize his style if you watch it, but overall it is really good and it is entertaining. And number 3 is Annabelle Creation. Annabelle Creation is a prequel to the Conjuring series. It's actually a prequel to the prequel. Annabelle is the prequel. Annabelle Creation is the prequel to the prequel. So, but this one is better. Annabelle wasn't that good. It was okay, but Annabelle Creation is way better. A lot better atmosphere. There's children acting, but they do a really good job. There's more gore, there's more deaths. I mean, Annabelle barely had any. So this is more entertaining. Definitely like a haunted house type movie, but also dealing with demons and possession and things like that. Like, it really covers a lot, and it is very entertaining. Number 2 is It. I watched the miniseries in the 90s, and the new movie that's out, it is more entertaining for sure. The children acting, actually in the miniseries, the children acting was pretty good too. But in this one, it's really well done. Like all of the characters did a good job. Um, they did make some changes. Like they made the clown more scary, which I don't really agree with because actually having the charming clown from the 90s miniseries kind of made him scarier, if that makes any sense. It's because he would have an easier time convincing kids to follow him, while the one in the new movie, as soon as you see him, you're going to be scared and run away. So I thought that was a better clown, but overall the movie is definitely more entertaining, and there are quite a few scares in it. If you've seen the miniseries, you kind of see a lot of them coming, but it's still well done and entertaining. And number one is Get Out. Get Out is written and directed by Jordan Peele, who's more known as a comedian, but he did a really good job here. He created a lot of atmosphere, some tension, suspense, and it really flows well throughout the entire movie. Like there's no bad moments in this movie. The acting is great, the shots are great, the writing's great. Like it just hits all the cylinders, and it talks about the social commentary, the racism, the the um, the scares are really good. The overall story is entertaining, and it's a good movie to watch. It's definitely something that'll get you in the mood for Halloween. That's the list for this year, and hopefully if you haven't watched any of these, you'll find some suggestions that'll keep you entertained for Halloween, and hopefully it's a good Halloween. So if you like this video, like, share, subscribe, or all of the above. Thank you, and have a nice day.